do want to start with the acknowledgement of being a scholar athlete deemed by the ODAC. Being out of all the men's lacrosse athletes in the conference, you get that award. For someone who puts in the effort to be really good on the field. Obviously, you've done the same thing to be good in the classroom. What does that type of award mean to you when you think about all of the extra hours that you've spent inside the classroom or inside the library to be able to be honored with that award?
It means a lot just to show that all the work that I've been putting in, like in the library, all those hours and the studying and everything has really paid off. But I just think it's also a huge testament to the professors at the school, everything they've been able to do for not only me, but everybody else at the school. I think, I wouldn't be where I'm at without them and all their help and guidance.
When I was noticing, because I'm helping out with the academic awards, that you picked up one of those as well. So congrats on all of the accolades for being just a student first, and the athlete coming second. I'm curious to know where that mindset comes from. Where do you think that stems from, that you decided, I need to focus on being as best I can in all facets, and how do you do it? How do you balance that?
I'd probably say my mindset's been, pretty much from my parents. My dad has always been pretty tough on my sister and I just with school. And, his biggest thing was, my sport was lacrosse. My sister's was field hockey. Was like, yeah, those are great sports and we can do a lot of great things with those. But professionally, we're probably not going to play those and make a lot of money. So the biggest thing is to do well academically and stay focused with that. So my parents really pushed me. And then my twin sister probably just, competing with her in pretty much every asset we can, whether it's sports or academics, always trying to get a step up on her has really driven me as well.
Well, I'm also curious to know, because I think we're all aware that, we're doing our best to stay in shape, but we're also taking this time to be a little bit lazy, and enjoy Netflix or HBO or whatever it might be. So I am curious to know what you're watching and what you think other people should be watching or listening to right now.
So the biggest thing I've been watching is The Last Dance. That's on Sunday, the Bulls documentary with Michael Jordan. I think everybody should be watching that, especially kids my age, around my age, because we didn't really have the opportunity to watch the Chicago Bulls during that time, or if we were alive during that time, we were probably one or two. So we don't really know the prime Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. So watching that, I think it's amazing to be able to watch what those guys did. And then Netflix-wise, All American is a show I know probably a lot of people have heard about, but I enjoy watching that.
Yeah, and speaking of winning, that mentality is really ever present in an athlete at any level. I'm curious if you have thought more, have ideas about, continuing to win as a lacrosse athlete. Next year, obviously you have that option. Where do you stand, you and your family stand in that conversation?
So personally, I'm coming back next year to play. I applied and got into the Masters of Public Health at Lynchburg. So got in and I'm ready to come back. And, we would have made a very strong competition and won the ODAC championship this year and gone far in the NCAA and won that national championship. I know everybody that supports us and follows us knows that. And I'm excited, this year being taken from us. I think the guys have a lot of, extra motivation to get back next year and really excited to get back and just be able to achieve the goals that we weren't able to this year because the season got cut short.
Well, that's great news, man. I'm personally, I'm very happy to hear that. As you mentioned, this was looking like a team that could really make some noise in a big way. So that's fantastic. I'd like to know, if you could, just how that conversation went. How early in this process did you start to have that conversation and start to figure out, how you can make it work?
It pretty much happened right away. Even before our season had been completely shut down, when the NESCAC schools had shut down, my dad texted me and been like, "Hey, I know this hasn't happened to you guys, but just in case it would, I'm assuming you want to go back next year. And I'm like, yeah, like I want to finish out. So right away we had that conversation. Then when everything happened where the season got cut, it was, my parents and I just figuring out what program I was going to do and just trying to figure out exactly how to come back. It wasn't really any second thoughts on doing anything else. It was always, the plan was always, if I could, to come back and play another year.
So what do you think initially you'll glean from this experience that might actually help? A lot of people are talking about what we're learning now and what we hope to stick with us once we're allowed to go back and kind of do things the way we were used to doing them before. Is there anything you've learned during these last couple weeks, this last month, that might be able to relate to a long day of practice or, after a loss, perhaps, that you could bring up as yet another senior leader next year?
My biggest thing would just be take every day like it could be your last. Because, for the seniors, Coach K has always talked to us, play like this doesn't last forever, and just to cherish the moments you have. And as a freshman, when he first told me that, I was like, okay, yeah, like I have 4 years of this. And, all of a sudden it came, and here I was in senior year, and it getting cut short just really showed me that this doesn't go on forever, and that, I'm lucky and I'm blessed to be able to come back and play another year. There are a lot of guys in all sports, a lot of men, women in all sports, D1 to D3 in spring, that aren't going to be able to go back and finish their last year. So just taking every day like it could be your last. And if, it's a practice, maybe you're feeling a little tired, and sometimes, you go out there and you're like, oh, I don't really want to be here today. Just knowing, this could be your last practice. Just go out and go as hard as you can. And, any moment you have to be on that field or with your team, just take advantage of it. Yeah,
certainly takes that saying from being more metaphorical to factual nowadays. Well, the last thing I want to go through is what we've done with all of our student athletes that we check out from their house. I don't want to necessarily take a whole tour, but if you don't mind just showing us what it looks like now from the Gallagher classroom.
So I'm in my classroom right now. I'll try to show you a little bit of it. So I just kind of have, I don't know, I have like a little desk here.
A little lunch too?
Yeah, a little lunch. And then I have a like a chair, if you were at like a lacrosse game, a little like chair to sit out that I kind of made my own just for in my classroom. But I have a nice desk where I can just put everything down and be away. My sister usually stays upstairs in her room and does homework. So dividing ourselves from each other helps me stay a little bit focused. So,
well, man, I'm so glad that you took the time to hop on here today and show us a little bit of your world currently, and more importantly, just glad that we'll be able to be there for more memories next year when you come back. And always looking forward to seeing your parents at the tailgates and being around that crew. So thanks for sharing that information with us, first of all. Mm-hmm. And man, good luck. It's a finals week next week. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. It's going to be odd. Have you thought about like one thing or a couple of things maybe you should use to try to stay focused, because you're not going to be in your normal classroom setting for exams? How are you planning on attacking this?
My biggest thing is, this is the final week. Like finals are, they're a big thing for you academically. They can make or break a grade if you don't really prepare for them. So just staying focused, knowing that after the next week and a half, I have summer and I'm off from school for a little bit. So just to put in as much work as possible, stay focused for another week and a half, and then after that I get a little break. So that's what's helping me get through this.
Hey, keep it short and simple, man. That's the best way to follow along with any plan. So once again, Tyler, thanks for taking the time to join us from the Keystone State, and we'll see you around soon, hopefully.
Yeah, excited to come back. Thanks for having me.